Okay, so today we will be looking into a showcase of Amy. So she just came out in the Korean server. I have summoned and built her up. She's currently MR rank. Her skills are fully maxed out, at least as far as they can be. The only upgrade that's left is one more level to her ultimate. Unfortunately, I do not have level 2 to 1 yet, but everything else is maxed out. Her exclusive is at level 2 as well. And yeah, we're gonna be testing her out. This is the build that I currently have on her. Nothing special because unfortunately it doesn't seem like I'm dropping a lot of ranger gear. Unfortunately, this is quite literally the best set that I have. So we're gonna have to work with it. Plugin is level 10. We have one energy of 2 sets, so we're gonna be charging our energy a little bit faster. She relies a lot on energy charges, and for this one we're currently at level 3-0, right? For the badges, I'm running full attack speed as a priority, and for secondary badges I'm running ultimate damage. So as you can see, the first one is all attack speed, second one 2 attack speeds, 1 attack and 1 ultimate damage, and the last badge is quite literally amazing. 3 very high attack speeds and 2 ultimate damages. So now we're gonna quickly look into her skills. I'm gonna read them, the English translation from the web. And yeah, so her Awaken ultimate, I'm gonna play the animation. Summons turrets near your location, and each turret will essentially taunt nearby enemies for 1 second, very similar to the Thief's surprise box. It will do 600% additional damage to the nearest target, and the turret will last for 10 seconds, right? Next up, depending on the number of turrets currently summoned, increases your attack power of all turrets by 150%, but up to a maximum of 5, so a total of 750%. And in World Raid Battle and Custom Raid Battle, the attack power will be increased by 250% instead of the 150%, again with a maximum of 5 stacks. Now, while her Awaken skill is pretty cool, from my testing I found that the Blossom skill will pretty much be used 100% of the time. I haven't found any great scenarios where Awaken skill is better than the Blossom one. So for the Blossom skill, this one, it has a very long range, however it is quite slim, as you can see, right? It only covers 40 degrees angle, and yeah, the ultimate at max level, 1200% damage to your front target that you are hitting. It also deals knockback and increases critical hit chance by 50% during casting time. On top of that, plus 800% additional damage to enemies placed in the middle row. So if you are fighting, let's say 3 enemies in the middle row, it will be quite easy to hit at least one of them if you're using that skill, and they are gonna be taking massive damage, and these multipliers are just the beginning. Next up, active skill 1. This one, 600% damage to enemies within range, and she increases her Amy piece stacks by 3. So for the stacking, I will explain it shortly, but this is basically her stacking ability. She can have a total of 100 stacks, and those stacks do not disappear. So basically once she reaches 100, all of her abilities will be enhanced. So this one, 600% damage, and it gives 3 stacks. For her second skill, it will give her 500% shield proportional to attack power for 3 seconds. It will charge 300 EP, and it will increase her stacks by 10. And now we are getting to the good part, the passive. So at level 4, when attacking normally, there's a 70% chance to apply 1 stack of Amy piece. So this is pretty much the reason why I went for a full attack speed build. You will see it in the testing phase, it's absolutely insane. Each stack will increase your evasion by 0.5%, which means you can have a total of 50% evasion just by having a max stacks. When awakened, these stacks will increase your attack power by 10% each, so a total of 300% attack power bonus. And in Blossom, instead of the attack power, it will increase your ultimate damage by 6% per stack, which means yes, that is a 600% ultimate damage boost. And now her exclusive skill from the plugin, which is just absolutely ridiculous, right? Amy piece, when stacked to 50, right, it has basically two parts, when it stacks to 50 and when stacked to 100. So at 50 stacks, it will increase her EP charge rate by 50%. So she will be recharging the EP 50% faster, which is already crazy. On top of that, it will recover 5% of her health every 3 seconds. And this is like a continuous effect, so it doesn't end, it just keeps cycling and cycling. Next up, if you have 100 stacks, when in Awakened form, after initially summoning 2 turrets, it will summon an additional turret every 4 seconds. And in Blossom form, which is what we really care about, ultimate damage increases by another 200% and the damage resistance increases by 50%. So this is a ranger that at 100 stacks has self-healing, 50% damage resistance and 50% evasion. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, let's just go to the showcase. Hello again, it is I, the person who managed to record a half-an-hour video, but only record his voice, so I'm doing this a second time. But yeah, the general gist, we're gonna be testing out, as always, in 3 areas. First of all, data tower for a regular feel of how it feels to use a unit in basically like story mode, data tower, all of these PvE modes. Next up, guild raid, and lastly we're gonna be testing out in PvP, fighting against the top 10 defenses on my server. Right, let's go. Okay, so this is the team I will be using for a data tower, right? We're fighting at level 331. I have a front line, and this will be super important when it comes to using Amy, right? You need to have a solid front line, right? Apart from that, she will be able to stack her damage by herself quite well, but I also pretty much have 3 supports for her, just so we can see the full potential of it, right? So Ileana as a tank, Madelite, she provides ultimate damage plus attack speed, both of which are insanely OP on Amy because of the stacking as well as the ultimate damage. I have Eudysia for some extra energy stacking and Echidna for buffing up all of my nearby rangers, right? So pretty much a tank, Amy, and then 3 essentially supports for her. Everyone is on Blossom except for Amy, who is on Awakened skills at the moment. Later on, we will be testing her out on Blossom as well. But yeah, overall, I found that when it comes to Awakening skills, that one is usually gonna be more useful for bosses, whereas with the Blossom skill, this one will be used in majority of the scenarios where you're fighting at least like 2 or more enemies. And yeah, with her Awakened skill, you can see that she places this weird little turret. The turrets will always go in front of her, and she can have multiple turrets. However, the turrets do have HP as well. You can see an HP bar on them. They do not have a lot of HP, unfortunately. They will die in like a hit or 2 usually. The problem with that is AoE hits will be hitting those turrets quite easily. Next up, because they do taunt the enemy, if there is an enemy nearby, that turret is as good as gone, right? But yeah, again, I don't know if I mentioned in the intro, but I was testing this unit during her being bugged. This is why what you're seeing right now is a little bit unrealistic, right? Because yes, she does have damage resistance, she does have evasion. She's not going to be able to do this anymore because they have bug fixed her passive, giving her way more evasion than she should. But yeah, at this point what we're just seeing is just the potential of how often she can charge her ultimate, right? Just seeing like she's gaining an ultimate every like 4 or 5 seconds by now, 100 stacks, all that resistance. But again, like this is fixed, she will not be able to evade like that, so we're gonna skip forward. I did not win this battle, nor should I have won this battle, right? And we're gonna test out her Blossom skill instead. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing this time. Every single unit on my team is on a Blossom skill, so you will see that she will shoot this sort of a cone attack. You will notice that her ultimate charges insanely fast, right? Like 5 seconds in and she already has an ultimate. It pushes the front target back a bit and it will expand into a cone behind it. Overall, her damage in the beginning is really not that great. She sort of needs 100 stacks in order to just show any damage potential, I found. But if you do have units that help her stack those, as well as have very high attack speed on herself, you will be able to stack it in like a good scenario, maybe like 40 seconds usually, right? Sometimes in some content you can stack in like 30 maybe. But 40 seconds is a safe bet, I would say. You definitely will have 100 before the minute comes, right? But again, like, look at this. She's not taking damage. I don't know if she would have died here, right? Like, I cannot test it anymore because unfortunately I have passed these levels, so I cannot test whether this unit, for example, here would have killed me. My guess is it would have, right? But because her evasion passive was bugged, we cannot test her evasion as much. We're mostly just testing out her damage. I've tested her a bit after the patch, right? After her evasion thing was fixed. She definitely does not have the tankiness potential that she hid in these recordings, but her damage did remain the same. So the damage you're seeing here will be realistic, but her tankiness will definitely be still good, but much lower, where she is not able to just go 1v5 against the whole enemy team and absolutely destroy them, right? So we're gonna do one more fight in here, and then we're gonna do a showcase of the guild raid. Okay, so the battle begins. She's gonna be the first one. Yeah, that was 5 seconds in. She already has an ultimate. Also, Echidna is amazing for her because Echidna's ultimate will give attack speed to my Amy, so she is gonna be able to stack those much faster. You can see that even already she's doing what she did, like 60% of Reiho's HP there. I believe Reiho was in the middle row, which means that she takes increased damage. If you remember one of her skills, she said she does extra damage to all units in the middle row, which kind of means that if you see 3 enemies in the middle row, that's like a surefire way to know that Amy is gonna absolutely pop off. But yeah, damage wise, I mean, she did like what, 8 to 9 million in this game. Echidna did around 5 million. Very impressive in my opinion, right? Yeah, I believe I'll open the damage charts. Yeah, like you can see, Echidna is already a very good damage dealer, but yeah, falls in comparison to that, and also she heals way more than Madelite healed her whole team, right? Okay, and now for the guild boss. The team I am running is pretty much the same, however the only change I have made, let me quickly just get to the battle screen. The only change I've made is I took out Euryzia and I plopped in the Thief, right? The reason I did that is I want to see the damage comparison between Amy and Thief, right? Now, yes, the backlines will have some extra buffs. They do have damage, they do have attack, all of that from the formation. Plus, there's a Echidna there who is buffing my Amy a bit, but then again, my Thief is evolved much higher. She has much better gear, so I think the comparison is like a little bit more equal in this case. All of them are in the backline row, so Madelite will be buffing all 3 of the units you see right here. And yeah, do keep in mind that she was still bugged with her evasion by the time I was testing this, so there is a chance she would have died to one of the hits whenever the boss attacks her, right? But if we look at the damage, especially comparing it to Echidna and Thief, she is at 30 stacks. And the turrets, well, how can I say this? They are absolutely obliterating the boss, right? I do want to say this, I could consider her dead by the time the boss launches one AoE attack on her, right? I think that's a fair thing to say. She wouldn't dodge the boss attack without the bugged evasion. So we're gonna count it that whenever the boss hits her with one of his AoE attacks, she is dead and we stop the fight there, right? Unfortunately, that doesn't happen yet because the boss is focused on both Ilyana and Thief. Ilyana is gonna be dying quite soon, but even then, like, look at the damage Amy is doing. Each turret it drops, the turret, like, how many turrets is that? That's like 5 or 6 turrets by now. Like, okay, there we go, the AoE attack is coming, and boom, the AoE launched, right? She wouldn't have evaded that. As you can see, everyone's dead. She's alive because of the bugged evasion, but let's say the battle ended here. Well, 3.7 million on Thief, 7.1 million on Echidna, 30 million on Amy. Yeah, that is balanced. Now next up, I'm gonna run the same exact team, except this time we are gonna be running the Blossom ultimate. So after testing a bit more of camera, right, I found out that the Awaken ultimate, at least in this boss, performs a little bit better than the Blossom, right? Like, keep in mind, Blossom is still doing very good damage in here, especially when she starts stacking up more of her stacks. You will see that her damage will become like 2 to 3 million per hit, and she is able to ultimate every like 4 to 5 seconds. But I found that the turrets definitely, especially when they stack up, the turrets will be doing a bit more when it comes to single target enemies. So yeah, overall you can see that the damage is still good. It's still out damaging Thief and Echidna. She would die from one of these attacks. I'm just waiting for her to get hit so we can see when she would have realistically died, right? But even then, I reached 55 HP bars. And yeah, she got hit. She would have died here. Unfortunate run, right? But even then, like, looking at the damage, 4 million on Thief, 8 million on Echidna, 14 million on a Blossom skill Amy. Absolutely ridiculous. And as always, we're gonna be testing her out in the challenge arena mode in the end, right? Unfortunately, this mode is not opened in global yet, but for those who have seen my videos, you know that in this one we are essentially fighting against the top 10 defenses of the server for that week. One of them will be mine. I believe I placed rank 7 like the previous week, so you will see my defense being fought there as well. Probably the easiest defense as well, because holy hell, my defense is bad. But yeah, we're gonna be fighting top 10 defenses adjusted to our levels, so all of the enemies will be at level 235, and I'm gonna run a compilation of Amy, just absolutely deleting quite literally every team with the same exact team on my side. All 10 fights, spoiler alert, I did win the whole rotation. And yeah, I'm just gonna run the compilation. That's about it for me, and yeah, enjoy.
Alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I rip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try study me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat, you'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy, printed, can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoken into existence, so consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap when I be breaking this. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.